That's right, everyone. It's your guy C. Robinson here, coming at you with some predictions on the upcoming fight. You know, boxing, the sport, is alive and well. There's a lot of big fights coming up, a lot of good, talented fighters. One of the fights we're going to be seeing, it looks like, it's not official, but it does look like we're going to be seeing Manny Pacquiao versus Adrien Broner coming up in January, most likely in Las Vegas. Really interesting fight, if you ask me. We have Broner from Cincinnati, 4-division champion, going up against Manny Pacquiao, the Filipino icon. You know, Pacquiao recently signed with Al Heyman, so he's going to be having a lot of interesting fights. I really want to get people's predictions on this fight. All kind of people in boxing, fighters, former fighters, trainers, you know, just boxing personalities, fans, just people who are connected to the sport. That's one of the first big fights in 2019 is Broner versus Pacquiao. So without further ado, here's everyone's thoughts. I got some really interesting thoughts from a lot of guys, and check out what everybody had to say so far about this fight. Got my man Karam Abdallah. You can see him here at Johnny Tacos. He really put in a lot of good work for what I've been seeing him in the gym. He's a former New York Golden Gloves champion. Karam, he expects Broner to come in shape for this fight, but he doesn't think it's going to be enough. He feels that Pacquiao, who is a legend, is definitely going to pull this one off via majority decision. We got my man Jeff Camp, another fighter from Ohio. I remember him years back at the Mayweather Boxing Club. He's still fighting. Shout out, he recently got a win. Jeff feels that Pac-Man, that his speed is pretty much going to be a little bit too much for Broner. Then there's my man Nate Campbell, former unified lightweight champion of the world. If there's anybody I know who loves to talk boxing, it's this dude. He always gives it to you real and raw, uncut. Nate's really like a mentor to me in the game of boxing. I've been knowing him for years. But Nate, he pretty much, you know, he feels that he's never been super high on Pacquiao, and he feels this fight is really up to what kind of Adrien Broner shows up in the ring. Yeah, and that's right. We got Dewey Cooper of Black Cobra Striking Systems, man. Dewey Cooper is what you call a multi-sport athlete. He's had success in boxing, kickboxing, Muay Thai. He's one of them people, he's done a little bit of everything. He's still working with a great squad of fighters, so definitely check him out. And Dewey feels that pretty much Pacquiao is going to find a way to get a stoppage here. He expects it to go a late round stoppage. The referee's going to stop it, and he expects Floyd Mayweather to be eventually be next for Pacquiao. Then we got one of my favorite people in the game, Kenny Ellis. He's a former fighter, really tough fighter. He's training fighters now. We're going to have a lot more on him. He pretty much expected Pacquiao to win this fight, start taking over the fight in the second half of the fight, and score a knockout round, 11 rounds. Jason Gallegos, that's another guy I got respect for. He's a trainer out here in Vegas. You can always see him putting in that work with his fighters. He expects Pacquiao's pressure to be a little too much. Then we got our guy Marco Hall, prospect coming up. He just won a fight recently down in Mexico. Shout out to him. He kind of split on this fight. He thinks Broner can possibly win the fight if he lets his hand go, but otherwise he expects Pacquiao to win this fight easily if Broner fights the way he's been fighting. Thomas Hill, T. Hill, is in the building. Really good fighter. Been knowing him for a minute here. Hustle Boss. Remember him when he was an amateur, actually. But, you know, he believes Broner can actually pull the upset off. It's just really about how he boxes. But he believes that Broner has what it takes to pull off the upset. Then we got our guy Jamal in. When he's not, checking out the boxing scene, you can see him wreaking havoc at a poker table. But anyway, Jamal, he kind of sees he leaning towards Pacquiao a little bit, it sounds like, just because Broner doesn't stay busy enough, and he thinks the fact that maybe Mayweather could be facing either guy makes this fight a little more interesting. Then we got our guy Lalo's Boxing, man. Don't forget, this guy had one of the hottest Instagram pages going. For some reason, they must be hating on him. They took his page down, but he has got a new page going, so be sure to follow his new page. He give you all the boxing updates, everything. He expects it possibly to be a good fight if Broner lets his hands go, but either way, he still thinks Pacquiao is going to win a decision here. Then there's my guy Joseph Macedo, man. Been seeing him in a lot of sparring wars over at Johnny Tacos. He's still an amateur, one of the top-rated amateurs in his weight class. He's always in tournaments. You can check him out. And Macedo, he likes Pacquiao to win this because of his experience, but also because he just feels like Manny wants it a little bit more, and he kind of questions how bad Broner wants it at this point. Then we got Tommy the Razor Raynon. 37 fight veteran. He's been around the game over 12 years fighting. In my opinion, he gives some of the best boxing breakdowns out there when it comes to really analyzing a fight. He feels that Pacquiao's style is all wrong for Broner, and he feels that Manny, even if he's at 70%, is going to be better than 100% Broner. But he does feel that what makes this fight interesting is the fact that you never know, Pacquiao could walk into something big from Broner, and that could change the fight. Then we got my man King David Sample, former WBO Latinos champion. If you ever check his old fights, this dude had a lot of skill. Now he's training fighters. You can check him out outside of Fight Capital Gym. He thinks it's an interesting fight, but for now he has to go with Pacquiao just because he feels Broner's been doing a little bit too much trash talking, and Pacquiao has a renewed sense of hunger about himself. And then we got undefeated lightweight Rolando Raleigh Romero. This dude is always putting on a show. You know, Raleigh brings it. And he's actually one of the few ones he's going with Broner on this one just because he feels, you know, Adrien has more left in the tank than Pacquiao. And I had to throw my man Ice John Scully on here, former contender. He's not training fighters. He's really, in my opinion, one of the top boxing historians in the game. But basically, he likes Pacquiao to win this fight. He just feels he's going to be a little too unorthodox and well-conditioned at this point for Broner. And up next, we got bantamweight prospect Sean Simpson. In my opinion, one of the top prospects in the sport. He's undefeated, 9-0, 3 knockouts. We caught up with him last month in Chicago. Simpson, he's actually going to go in this one. Looks like he's going with Broner. He just feels like, you know, if Broner can still fight at a high level, that he can capture this one by split decision. And we got undefeated light heavyweight David Flat Sparks, the self-proclaimed mayor of Crown Heights, Brooklyn. He feels that Broner's a talented fighter, but he really feels that Pacquiao is just going to be a little bit too aggressive for him and scored a victory by a KO. And we got my man Samaje Thomas in here. He's another fighter. I remember him back before his professional run at the Mayweather Boxing Club, just talking boxing with him. But he's going to be getting back in the ring soon. And for now, he actually likes Broner. He thinks Broner's going to pull off the upset if his mind is right. And he's going with the upset come January. Next up, we got prospect Dante Strayhorn here. I remember Dante many years back when he first came to Las Vegas before he turned professional. He's one of the ones he's going to go with Broner winning this fight. He feels Broner's just going to dog Pacquiao and walk him down for the victory. Another talented fighter on here, we got Lionel Thompson, a.k.a. Lonnie B. He's a light heavyweight contender, really talented guy, but he's going with Pacquiao on this one. He just feels Pacquiao has too much experience in there, but he does feel anything is possible. And we got Gerald Tucker, GT. Been knowing him many years out here in Las Vegas. Undefeated fighter, trainer. Always like getting his opinion on things, but you know, he feels that when Broner fights southpaws, he's a different animal. But at the same time, he can't really make a prediction on this fight. He just feels like it's the perfect matchup for both guys at this point. Next up, we got amateur prospect Sean Ross, a.k.a. Kawisi Walusimbi. Remember meeting him back at Johnny Taco's. Really good guy. He feels that Broner has, you know, he could possibly pull off the upset against Pacquiao, but he has to come up with the right strategy. Basically, he feels that either guy could win this fight. It's just gonna come down to being an interesting matchup, and it may end in a draw. I had to throw my guy Jeremiah Wiggins in here. This is a good fighter, man. You can check him out, see him in the video putting in that work against Ricardo Mayorga. He put in work with all kind of people in Vegas, and he got an opinion on this one. He feels it could be a toss-up, and it's really depending on what kind of Broner shows up. You know, he feels that Broner's let him down in 3 of the last 4 fights. And what's interesting is Wiggins feels that this is Broner's last fight before he might become a journeyman. So he's really going to have to bring his best, but he's still going with Manny Pacquiao to win the fight. That's it for the first round of predictions on this fight. You know, I'm just really here to create a platform for people to kind of voice their opinions on upcoming matches and other things in the sport. I know some other people got me some thoughts on this fight, and that's going to be coming up in the second round of predictions. So we got a lot more predictions coming up. Stay tuned for more.